morning from Artistic Artifacts. This is our regular Saturday morning Facebook Live, and I'm Chris Vinn. I think you all know me. I've done these a few times, and I'm the person behind the social media, so you know me one way or the other. We're going to do a couple of things today. We want to give you a preview of our Christmas stockings. Last couple of years, we've made Christmas stockings and auctioned them off. It allows you to, for each $10 purchase on our website, you get a chance to win one of the stockings that the staff has made, filled with gifts from Judy from the shop. And it goes to a local charity. Last year we did it in December, and we were able to contribute $5,000 to Casa Cherolingo, and we haven't picked our charity for December, but we are trying to be prepared as part of our Summer Projects Equals Holiday Peace promotion this year. So I'll do the stockings, I'll show you a few of them, how we've made them, but then I wanted to recap some of the projects that you might have missed on our Saturday mornings over the summer. Reference that all of them can be found on YouTube. So all of these projects we have saved to our YouTube channel, so if you subscribe there or go to find us at Artistic Artifacts on YouTube, you can go back, take your time, look at the projects and the videos. And then I thought I would tell you about, it is into summer, we're getting, doesn't feel like it, but we will be getting into fall pretty shortly, and just talk about some of the activities that we're involved in planning for the rest of the year. So let's go to stockings, because that was really what we wanted to preview. This stocking is by Judy, and it has, she actually used a rubber stamp and a Memento Luxe. And as most of you know, Judy likes to make scrap quilts. And these were actually, this stocking was made with scraps from one of our row by rows from quite a number of years ago. But she did, she printed with the stamp onto the fabric and used some of our Combinasi batik timbal in making her stocking. So then we have, this one is from Dudley. And Dudley's had some fun with this. She's used some mostly scraps from her own collection, but you can pick any of the fabrics. This one is actually a new one that we have in. It's not a Christmas fabric, but it looks great. The pinks and the blues look great together. And she added a little bit. And then she's actually started with this fabric, which is on sale right now. And that's where the deer come from. She went ahead and fussy cut those out and appliqued them on. This one is just beautiful. This one was made by Kathy Edwards, and she used our Tribal Arts wooden block printing, and she used some of the gold paint. So this is a non-traditional stocking, but it's just incredible. And she used Australian fabric for the cuff and the lining. So, you know, every stocking doesn't have to be just, you know, Merry Christmas, screaming red and green. And she used our fluid textile paint and then one of our block print sets. She used the tribal ones, but this would be a great one to select. This one with the stag, there's got a couple reindeer. And even though it's got some holiday pieces in it, it actually has some, it's a nice set that will go for more than just Christmas. And then we have individual blocks, snowflakes and Christmas trees. These are just a sample, but that would be a fun way. Actually, it'd be a fun project to do as a family with your kids. And then what we'll have, and Sharon will post, we've all used a Christmas stocking tutorial. We'll give you the link to this. It was a free download. Very easy pattern. And we just made, we printed out and we made our templates for the stockings. So let me show you a couple more. Again, Judy likes to use her scraps, so these are actually scraps from several years ago, but she just keeps going through her bins of scraps and makes her stocking. Again, non-traditional fabrics, but a very fun stocking. This one's one of mine, and this is the Scowling Cats. It's a Deer Stella fabric. And actually, I did a lot of hand stitching. For those who follow me, you know that I enjoy hand stitching, and there's lots of French knots in there. So I decorated with some beads. They're collars beads, but a fun piece. And I thought it was just really fun because what you could also do is make a matching pillowcase. And Julie made the pillowcases. She's got the cats, and she made the pugs. So this is a Deer Stella fabric, but that would be a fun project. Another one by Kathy Edwards. Again, some really pretty Australian fabric for a non-traditional stocking, but it does have some stars, so it does have a little bit of feeling of Christmas in there. And then the last one I'm going to show you it's one of mine. And last week, Judy was showing us how to use the Scrap Crazy quilt templates from Creative Grids. So I took my scraps from an earlier project and used the 6-inch templates and created the front of my stocking, used some leftover fabrics for the rest of the stocking. And then I used a couple of the books we have in the store with some hand stitching, and actually hand stitched my crazy quilt stocking. And I really had fun because I used this Dazzle. It's a Wonderful thread. It's an 8-weight. It was very easy to sew with, hand sew with, and it fit in my tulip chenille needle without any problem at all. So that one was really fun. Again, we have more to come. I know that Kathy Lincoln's working on one. She's actually embroidering it, which we would expect her to, on her Bernina. And she'll have that. Sharon and Caitlin will probably have some mixed media ones. And all of those will be available. We'll have them starting in November for our fundraiser in December. So what else do we have here to show you? To recap on some of the projects that you can go back and find on our YouTube channel. One of them was talking about using the Stripology Extra Large Creative Grid Ruler. And this is the Strippy Tree, and it was in this book. And I used the Classic Foliage, was that the name of it? So I use some of our Christmas fabric, but actually you could use any of our Christmas fabric, or you could use batiks. I think this would be really cool, and a couple of different dark green batiks. So we have that. The same day, the same YouTube video that I showed you how I made this and did the blocks, I was working on this piece. And this was a Bargello that I was working on, kind of an improv. I had this much done when you last saw it. I actually did a reflection. I just kind of repeated the same movement in the quilt as a reflection. So to me, this is the water, this is the mountain scene. And this was made using one of the Magical Winter roll-ups. So lots of fun ways to do that. I've got more than enough left over. I'm going to make some placemats. But this turned out really nice. It could be a wall hanging or a table runner. And that was completely improv. Using the pre-cut rolls, it was a good way to use them and just play with the movement and how you move them up and down. Let's see. This week in our newsletter, and then on our Facebook page, we referred you to a YouTube video that Leslie Breyer did several months ago for us, and it was using ice resin. And in the blog, we referenced how you can use cookie cutters to make ice resin ornaments. I mean, look how wonderful those are. And she's used some vintage postcards. This one, actually, she's got a brooch inside of it. So you can use kind of the ice red and mica. This one was from a challenge we did a couple years ago. And Jen made this one, and she layered different papers and fabrics. So she's got layers of ice resin to give this dimensional look to this square piece. But we've got a number of ice resin products, so that's a good way to play with. Again, this would be a fun project to do with your kids as well as just for yourself. This one is, these are actually screen prints from PG Fiber to Art. And they've done small thermofax screens, prints. They've used some metallic paint, some of our metallic paint, some machine stitching, some really fun pieces. Judy talked about holiday ornaments, and she talked about a couple different projects. She used transfer artist paper on a number of her ornaments, but she also used EQ printable. She used this ice resin mica to make her ornaments.
We had a question. How were the trees attached to the canvas? Oh, she just got it. Never mind. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Judy, excuse me. Judy also showed how to make, she made kind of these fun little Christmas ornaments with wool and beads and buttons and spools. So that's a fun video to go back. She's got some great ideas, just easy projects. This one and this one were ornaments that Jen made using the our doll kit patterns. So she's got a variety of little pieces. She's got some tap on there. She's got ephemera. This one has wings. This one she's stamped. She's done some fun things on there. What other projects do we have? We have this one I made. I just loved this fabric. This was the Holly Jolly fabric, and it's a panel. It's a 25-inch panel. And so I kind of fussy cut some of the panel, and I used the modern Japanese rice pouch pattern from KZ Stevens. She's got a website. It's a great, I've used it before. I have a couple, showed a couple when I was doing the video on Let's Talk About Stitching. So I actually did some hand stitching on the pieces. Again, I've got lots of little French knots, but just a little bit of hand stitching to show off the pattern. And then a complementary fabric that goes with this line for the lining. So this could easily be a gift bag. It would make a really great project bag, and you could gift it to a knitting friend with a skein of yarn inside, and then she'd have her project bag as well as, or instead of a stocking. One of the other things that Judy had done, she had a great video where she showed us all how to make fabric bowls using Pellon and fabric squares. You could easily use 10-inch squares or scraps of fabric that you had, but this was an easy, there's no pattern to it. She actually shows you how to cut some wedges out of the square and do the quilting, and then this one she used sari silk on the edging. But her video on that is very easy to follow. This might be on my to-do list this fall, but you never know. I might be done with making Christmas projects. Since I've done my summer projects and holiday piece, I might be on to other things. I think I have 2 great nieces who are waiting for quilts. This one I actually just finished this bag. And this is called, the pattern is called Ring Around the Rosy Tote. We don't have this online, but it is a cut loose press. It's designed by Jean Ann Wright. And the pocket on the quilt uses the 10-inch square log cabin Creative Grids ruler. The fabric that I chose is from the Baby It's Cold Outside Christmas line. And I like this one because while it is a holiday fabric, it doesn't scream Christmas, so I think I'll get more use out of this. It does have poinsettias inside. And then there's this Deer Stella fabric that just goes with almost everything. But a fun, easy pattern. I'm actually going to take one of my sashiko stitching and use the same pattern to make that. But again, it was Ring Around the Rosy's Tote. We have these in the store, but we don't have them online.
Someone loves your top and wants to know if you made it.
No, I don't make clothes. It's actually a habitat top. I probably got from Ruthie's, and you know, we miss Ruthie because we saw her at all the quilt shows, and we haven't seen her for a while since we haven't been to quilt shows, but she always had the best tops. Oh, this bag is another one. And we've been looking at trying to find some bags. So if people have bag patterns or bag pattern vendors that they like, we would love to hear your recommendations as to why you like a particular pattern maker. Leslie made this one. Again, one of our holiday fabrics, and she mixed it with a batik, which is really great because it echoes the logs in the village of the fabric. A beautiful bag. Leslie actually asked, and I haven't seen the response yet to this, but this might actually be part of our stocking challenge. So it might be filled. It might be a super duper, because there's a lot of space in this to fill. It's got a bottom space. It's really a nice pattern. I think it's called the Townsend pattern, but I can't swear to it. But pockets inside. Leslie and Nancy are hoping to have a sewing garments and bags group up starting in January, so stay tuned for that. So any questions about projects? All right, let's talk about what's coming up. So September we have, we're hoping to have another yard sale, and hopefully the weather will be a little bit more cooperative. I think we had about a heat index of 100 on our last one, but we did have a great turnout, and there'll still be lots of stuff to put out for the yard sale. I'm not sure of what weekend that will be, but watch for the newsletter for a yard sale. Judy is going to have, and Kai, you're going to have to walk me over the table. Judy's going to have her Facebook Live sale. And she's already working on boxes. And the boxes are going to have, they're going to be blue boxes. So, oh my goodness. She's got tentaculum in there. She's got some Japanese fabrics. She's got indigo dyed fabric. She's got some vintage piece. Oh, there's a piece that I brought back from Vietnam, among batik. So these will be the third Thursday live sale. You can see we're trying to get ahead of ourselves. In the weekend of, what's it, the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th of October, we're having a Creative Quest weekend. The Quilt Quest is not happening this year, so we've decided to make our own shop hop to Artistic Artifacts. So the shop will be open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We'll have live demos here in the classroom periodically, and we'll film those so that those of you who can't make the live, be here in the shop for that event, can see them. We're also going to have a handmade market, so a number of our creative minds will be selling their handmade products upstairs. Some discounts in the store, so watch for lots of activities. We're in the midst of planning for that. I told you we'll have our auction in December. And then a couple other events that we sponsor that are happening this fall that you really should look into is in September is Quilters Take a Moment. It's an event sponsored by and coordinated by the Quilt Alliance. Artistic Artifacts is one of the sponsors for that. It's a virtual event. It's happening. You can order your tickets. The keynote speaker is Biza Butler. She will be interviewed as part of the virtual event, but there's lots more activity going on. I think it's September 17th and 18th. Artistic Artifacts is also sponsoring the Eye Contact exhibit at Houston at the Quilt Festival this year. Eye Contact was an exhibit that was at Sacred Threads in 2019, and it's been traveling since then, and they were invited to exhibit at Houston, and Artistic Artifacts is a sponsor for that exhibit. And Textile Talks, which has been going on for quite a number of months. It's a joint project by Studio Art Quilt Associates, Quilt Alliance, International Quilt Museum, Visions, Surface Design, and I know I've forgotten one, but there's 6 different coordinators of those. Textile Talks, it's a weekly talk, they're free, and you can find those on YouTube as well, but Artistic Artifacts is a sponsor of that. And then I think the last thing I want to say today is our last sale was very successful in selling our Cantha quilts and Cantha scarves, which we import from our supplier in India. And our successful sale allows us to buy more products from them, the same as buying any of our sari silk, our wooden printing blocks. I just read this morning that they're having an increase in cases, much like we are here, or much like every other country is, but they're having problems again in India, and so there is no tourism. Our artisans depend on purchases from abroad, so your purchases of our products help us buy more from them and support them. So, any questions? Comments?
Christine says thank you for sponsoring Eye Contact.
Okay.
They love the exhibit.
It's a great exhibit. If you haven't seen it, there is a catalog. You can go to the Sacred Threads website. I actually believe we have Eye Contact. It's one of the books that we sell here at Artistic Artifacts. It is a mixed media exhibit, so it is not solely quilts. There are quite a number of pieces that were also mixed media. It's a pretty powerful exhibit, and strangely enough, it was conceived before we started wearing masks, and it was more about people looking at their iPhones or whatever phone they use and not making eye contact, but it became a much more powerful exhibit when we started putting masks on, is how important it is to make eye contact, smile with your eyes. It's pretty powerful, and I hope you get to see it, and again, you can see some of it on the Sacred Threads website. So, any more questions?
More comments on how people like your shirt.
Thanks.
That's it.
All right, and we thank all of you for, I'll close with the fact that, A couple weeks ago, Judy did a live tour that we recorded of the shop as part of the Jaftex video challenge. It's a 10-minute tour of the shop, so it really gives you a good flavor of what we have, but also the enthusiasm that Judy has for the business that she owns and has just created from a little space in her dad's business to what we are today. A brick and mortar store, but also a virtual community and a website. One of the things that has been really powerful is the fact that not only did we get 50,000 views of the video, but 90 people shared that to their friends. And by your sharing that, that organic spread is just phenomenal for us. It's more powerful than any advertising that we could do. The reach is much more powerful to share about what we're doing, who we're about. So if you haven't seen the video, it's on YouTube, but it's also on our Facebook page. It's on our website. I don't know whether we won the challenge, but that's not really what it was important. It was important to spread the word about what we do and why we do it and how much we love what we do. So keep following us. We like your reviews. We got a great Google and a Yelp review this week. Sharon just shared another one from one of our loyal buyers on our Facebook Lives and how much she loved the products that she got. So we love hearing from you, however you send us your information. So thanks a lot. See you next week.